In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, ministerial concern about Barbadians throwing their money into Ponzi schemes. Trump important aspects of the national energy policy revealed.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. Fresh concerns tonight about get-rich-quick plans, namely Ponzi schemes, in which Barbadians are literally throwing their money behind. They're coming from Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn. He says while Barbadians and other Caribbean nationals are falling prey to these schemes, legitimate opportunities need to be created for them to make money. Anesta Henry reports.
Government Minister Ryan Strawn is not impressed that many Barbadians are tossing money behind the Ponzi schemes. The minister in the Ministry of Finance is once again raising concerns about Barbadians and other Caribbean nationals getting involved in the risky behavior which could cause them to lose money. He was addressing the opening of the 55th Annual Monetary Studies Conference being held at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center.
Too many of our citizens today are falling prey to Ponzi schemes and all types of online scams that bear absolutely no relation to anything that is happening in the real world.
Minister Strawn says to tackle the issue, policymakers, researchers, regulators, and the private sector entities in the region have to create real money earning opportunities for citizens. He says this is necessary since citizens across the region can ill afford to lose hard-earned money on fickle online scams and schemes.
So that the hard-earned monies that our citizens have worked for and saved, that those earnings can be used legitimately to build resilience and to get that rate of return that people seem to be longing for, but accept that you cannot get a rate of return in 30 days unless you're doing something extraordinary like gold, oil, or some type of extractive endeavor that allows you to be able to do so.
Local, regional, and international economics, finance, and development experts are gathering in Barbados for the conference which the Central Bank of Barbados is co-hosting with the Caribbean Economic Research Team. The three-day conference will feature sessions related to financial development and financial stability, adjusting to climate change, digital innovations and transformation, regional integration and governance, and regional economic development. Minister Strawn is calling on the participants to simplify the economic talks for the average citizen to understand.
One of your tasks really is, how do you take 55 years of very robust research and help Caribbean citizens understand how to make better financial and investment decisions to mobilize the region's savings for the benefit of our citizens, for the development of our region. And I know that as politicians, sometimes there are some amongst us who don't like data, don't like evidence, and you make decisions without data at your peril.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Kevin Greenidge, says countries in the region need to diversify their economies and continue to strengthen their institutional frameworks.
And so it's important for us to do the analysis and understand the effects of phenomena like bank de-risking, about global supply chain disruptions, such so that we're able to craft policies that take into account these effects to ensure stability, economic growth.
The conference ends on Friday. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Prime Minister Motley is among the growing slate of world leaders extending congratulations to President-elect Donald Trump. In a statement on her X page, formerly Twitter, she says the United States continues to be one of the island's closest allies. She says Barbados stands ready to work together to build an even stronger relationship in this new chapter. On the street, Barbadians had their say about last night's elections.
Hopefully he does good things and he makes good decisions, especially when it comes to the immigrants and, the border and what's not, and healthcare. That's really all they care about.
I see Trump as a racist, and I'm not certain that he's going to do any better for the United States. I think people went Trump way because they think that he's a damn good businessman and would then bring some kind of assistance to the United States as it relates to wealth, even though that wealth might be going to the wealthier people. That's how I see it.
I hope I live long enough for the next couple of years to see what happens, but don't get me started.
I feel great about it. I think he was the best president of my lifetime. And I've been hearing a lot of sentiment, here at the airport yesterday. I saw Donald Trump was going to win, so I come home. And I heard in the supermarket just now, we can't soon go to the States. And I'm like, 2016, he was president for 4 years. This is the same thing people were saying back then. And none of those things happened. He didn't round up nobody and start no pogroms or nothing. So, he was a good president. He did some good things, and everybody's fine. So we've been here before. We're back here again. There was no problem last time. Shouldn't be any problem this time again.
An important phase of the national energy policy was rolled out today. The launch of the Battery Energy Storage System Facility, a vision outlined in the Barbados National Energy Policy for 2019 to 2030. Officials from the Ministry of Energy and Business and a cross-section of stakeholders attended the forum at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre today, and Trevor Thorpe was there.
Minister of Energy and Business, Senator Lisa Cummins, says it is an important phase in the national development policy and all the stakeholders have been working together to reach this point. She gave details of the energy storage procurement system and pointed out that it was open to all Barbadians.
It is about ensuring that, Ramiro mentioned, not having any single party having 100% of the assets. So say, for example, you have one single entity that has this first tranche and something goes wrong, then the storage capacity in its entirety is lost and there's no redundancy and no resilience, right? So we've accounted for that by splitting it up into lots. But that also comes with another innovation. It is the incorporation of a unit trust type approach that allows for us to, one, have smaller bids available for persons to come in, but for the average Barbadian who is looking for an investment opportunity, this also creates a prospect for them to come in with small investments using this unit trust approach to be able to create an investment opportunity in the smaller lots.
Minister Cummins says the concept is also about creating investment opportunities in the renewable energy sector and lowering energy costs.
What we are doing here today creates yet another investment opportunity in the renewable energy sector while creating that relationship between unlocking the grid and then putting new investment opportunities on the market.
Managing Director of the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited, Roger Blackman, says 2 objectives have been met and it is a step in the right direction to renewable energy generation in Barbados.
We've been very successful as an island with solar penetration. In fact, we're on the global forefront with 100 megawatts on the grid already. And in order to continue that momentum and continue building on past successes, the batteries are needed to unlock that and provide firm capacity. So that solar we put on, we can dispatch in the same way we would conventional generation.
The Battery Energy Storage System Facilities is a significant step forward in Barbados' clean energy transition journey. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Coming up, we'll tell you the fate of the group of men charged in connection with beating to death a man. 3 young men charged in connection with the recent killing of Pedro cattle have all been remanded to Dodds Prison. This after they appeared in the District A Magistrates Court today before Chief Magistrate Ian Weeks. According to Police Communication and Public Affairs Officer Sergeant Lizelle Gabriel, the accused, 29-year-old Daniel Ezekiel Ford, and Tyron Ricardo Roach, also 29, and Nicholas DaCosta Roach, 23 years, all of Jackson Tenantry Road in St. Michael, have been remanded to prison until December 4th, when they are to reappear in the District A Magistrates Court. The 3 men are reported to have chased and beaten Pedro cattle to death after he had knocked down an elderly woman with a car in Jackson, St. Michael on October 28th. Archbishop of the Anglican Church in the province of the West Indies, the Most Reverend Dr. Howard Gregory, says the church must be concerned about the pervasive nature of crime and violence creeping across the region enabled by the influx of guns. He says the abuse of children, human trafficking, poverty, unemployment, crime and violence, and social injustices taking place in the region are also matters of concern for the church. The Most Reverend Dr. Howard was delivering the sermon during a celebration of the Holy Eucharist held at the Cathedral Church of St. Michael and All Angels.
The mission task before us as a province and as dioceses calls for effective leadership of bishops and various councils, boards, and lay leadership. But it is more inclusive than that. It demands that each of us commit ourselves to praying, discerning, and working together to advance the work of mission and ministry within this nation and across our province, and to which God has called us. This calls for a renewal of the body corporate.
The Archbishop says the church is also paying close attention to slavery reparations, which have been a topical matter in recent years.
We must be clear that the payment of any quantum of money as reparation to the descendants of the enslaved through governments or institutions without an accompanying acknowledgement of the wrongs of the past, our equality as human beings before God, and the ability to engage life as equals does not change the horrors of the past. It only allows for new and more subtle avenues for expression in a world in which global power in its various manifestations is still the preserve of the colonizing powers of the past.
Barbados is known for its high number of centenarians per capita. It appears not only those living at home, but also some who ventured abroad are reaching the milestone. One such individual is Gwendolyn Lee, who at 102 years old is visiting from Boston to celebrate her sister Doris Holder's 100th birthday. CBC News caught up with Miss Lee and her niece, Senator Patricia Parris, during a meet and greet at the headquarters of the Togetherness Social Group.
These are all family members that every time I speak to her, she asks, how is so-and-so, how is so-and-so, because she remembers the person. So she is here for a short while, and I'm indeed happy to have you come to give her some coverage and to let Barbados know that we have Barbadians know we have centenarians all over this world. And she was born and raised in Barbados and worked here for a little while before migrating to Boston.
Ms. Lee, who is affectionately known as Aunt Beryl, originated from Sugar Hill, St. Joseph. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, she would visit the island annually. The sprightly centenarian described the event as a pleasant surprise.
I'm grateful to my niece and her family here to show me the love before I die. I said always give me my flowers and my life and my love when I'm alive, and so I can enjoy it. And I'm thankful tonight for my darling Pat. Patricia.
Sports time now with Anne-Marie Burke. What's the latest from Kensington?
Well, I will start with the news, Wendy, that the West Indies are chasing 264 in order to win the third and decisive one-day international against England. Sending the visitors into bat at Kensington Oval in the day-night encounter, the Windies restricted England to 263 for 8 of their 50 overs, which represented a recovery as they were 24 for 4 after 10 overs. Phil Salt top scored at 71, that included 4 fours and a 6, while Dan Mosley had 57 and Joe for Archer 38 not out. Matthew Ford was the pick of the bowlers with 3 for 35. The Windies have started their replay, and after 15 overs, they were 84 for 1. Brandon King is on 35. Harrison College secured the boys' title, while St. Michael's School captured the girls' crown when the Dasani Power 8 BSAC cross-country finals took place today at Dighton Griffith. Among the boys, HC got 206 points, Foundation 463, and Commonwealth 561. And in the girls' section, St. Michael's School totaled 279, Harrison College 307, and Christchurch Foundation 365. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boyce was there.
The senior boys 4,000 is where we begin. More than 100 competitors on the start line for this one, where the runners exited the Dighton Griffith School to complete a loop around the school before heading back onto the compound. Here was the front runner, looking strong, coming out the school with the pack chasing. But let's skip ahead to the final stages, where the lead changed hands drastically. It's a familiar face and name, all alone and in charge. National Carifta triathlete Luke McIntyre of Harrison College wins it. 14 minutes, 07.98 seconds, the time. Nathaniel Nurse of St. Leonard's Boys was second, 14 minutes, 29.59 seconds. While Dighton Griffith's Brendan Gill was third in 14 minutes, 30.95. Senior girls up next, a full field for this event as well. Clean start with the girls from St. Michael's School out front early on as they headed for the exit. But that changed pretty quickly once this young lady got going over 2,500 meters. Carifta middle distance runner Ashlyn Simmons looking smooth, no signs of fatigue, and she took that form straight to the end. Alexandra Stargirl is the BSAC cross-country queen with a winning time of 9 minutes, 24.01. Christchurch Foundation's new girl, another Carifta representative, Ariel Archer, was the runner-up in 9 minutes, 56.93, while Commonwealth Shanicia Bryant, another national junior athlete, was third in 10 minutes, 13.76. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
I'll pause here. When I return, I'll have news of volleyball. Back over to you, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. We'll be right back, and up next, the business report. In tonight's business report, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund will decide next month if Barbados should receive another $57 million. This after local authorities and a visiting IMF team reached a staff-level agreement on the completion of the fourth review of the Extended Fund Facility, the EFF, and the Resilience and Sustainability Facility, or RSF, arrangements. A statement from leader of the IMF team, Michael Perks, said the near-term economic outlook remains positive, although acknowledging the island remains vulnerable to global shocks and natural disasters, as demonstrated by the impacts of Hurricane Beryl. Mr. Perks notes all quantitative performance criteria and indicative targets for the fourth review of the EFF were met, with the authorities on track to meet the primary surplus target of 3.8% of revised GDP at the end of the current financial year. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, stressed that government stands committed to the task at hand to ensure the growth trajectory of Barbados remains solid. He says this has been reflected in the work of the government, which has continued to evoke confidence from international lending institutions. Minister Strawn made the remarks today as an IMF delegation headed by Michael Perks ended a 7-day visit to the island.
We are very much focused on seeing not just the program, but to ensure that the reforms that we have undertaken, not just under this second program, but certainly what we started under the first program, that these now are implemented and continue to be implemented to ensure that the growth trajectory remains solid, but equally that we are bringing the debt down to sustainable levels from what clearly has been unsustainable heights.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Kevin Greenidge, says in-depth research is necessary to help resolve the unique challenges countries in the region are facing. In fact, Dr. Greenidge says research plays a critical role in guiding the region through turbulent times. He made this clear while addressing the opening of the 55th Annual Monetary Studies Conference, which the Central Bank is co-hosting with the Caribbean Economic Research Team Secretariat.
Caribbean economies are small. Many of us rely on tourism, and all of us are exposed to global shocks, which lead to vulnerabilities that kept us in an equilibrium of low growth, exacerbated by high debt and further inequality. Despite these challenges, we must ensure that our research is not simply an academic pursuit. It must grapple with these binding constraints, making a tangible difference in the lives of our people.
The conference is themed Macroeconomic Management and an Era of Polycrises. Time now for a look at how the stocks performed locally and regionally today.
In Jamaica, Grace Kennedy Limited, with 2,875,122 units, was the volume leader, followed by Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares and Maybury Group Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader, with 1,440,105 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $5,327,717.24, followed by NCB Financial Group Limited. And here in Barbados, no securities traded today on the regular market.
And that's business. We'll take a break and be back with the weather. We say good evening to Carrie Ann O'Neill so we can find out what the remainder of the day is going to look like.
Good evening to you, Wendy, and good evening, everyone. Well, I can tell you, Wendy, that we are indeed impacted by a trough system. Today it generated cloudy skies along with some showers here in Barbados. Now, those winds across the region, they are light to strong, and they're peaking at 29 knots. We're also tracking one tropical wave east of the region. Now, the maximum temperature today was 32 degrees Celsius, the minimum 25 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity, 88%. The winds, they're coming in from the east, southeast. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where we do have a tropical wave located at 53 degrees west. The system is moving towards the west. We are expecting cloudy skies along with showers and thunderstorms from that system here in Barbados on Friday into Saturday. But today, a trough system maintained cloudy skies along with showers here in Barbados. Now, we saw those low-level clouds drifting across the island. As a result, we had those showers, especially over there in St. Thomas. We had up to 8.8 millimeters of rainfall. Now, the trough system will continue to impact us. As a result, we are expecting a mix of clear as well as cloudy skies, showers, and a very slight chance of some isolated thunderstorms. The winds across the region, well, they're peaking at 29 knots, and those seas, they're moderate in open water, with swells peaking at 2 meters. Now, as I said, later on tonight, we are expecting those showers and a very slight chance of isolated thunderstorms here in Barbados. Further south, showers prevailed across the coastal areas of the Guianas.
Over now in the Western Caribbean, Hurricane Raphael, it's expected to make landfall in western Cuba later on tonight as it moves towards the northwest. Maximum sustained winds 115 miles per hour. Well, that's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 5:54 and will set at 5:30. Now, the first high tide is expected at 6:55, that's 8 in the morning, and the first low at 18 minutes after 1 in the early morning. Those seas are moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2.5 meters. The winds, they're coming in from the east, southeast to the east, and they're peaking at 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, the trough system will continue to impact us. We are expecting partly cloudy to cloudy skies, along with those scattered showers and a very slight chance of some isolated thunderstorms. Over the next 3 days, a mix of sunshine, clouds, and showers can be expected tomorrow. Thereafter, we are expecting that the tropical wave, now at 53 degrees west, will maintain cloudy skies, showers, and thunderstorms.
Round 2 of sports now. Anne-Marie.
I promise you volleyball news as former Queens Chargers avenged their knockout semifinal loss to World Foundation as they began the Goddard Enterprises Limited Division I Volleyball League with an impressive victory where the new season served off at the Wildy Gymnasium. Here's a look at that game and the others played on the opening night. If the knockouts over the league competition served off, and one of the first ladies' encounters had arch rivals Chargers in the red up against Foundation United. And this one will go to a 4-setter as Chargers dropped a set. Foundation getting that point thanks to Tyra Johnson. But Chargers had taken the first set at 25-23, lost the second 24-26, but claimed the third at 22. So in this, the fourth, the aim was to close out the win. Alana Smith with that power spike. Chargers with the serve. Foundation picks it up and it looks promising, but it's sent into the net and Chargers capitalize on another point. Foundation now starting this play. Chargers immediately set to firm it up, and here it comes, or not, as Johnson gets a hand to it, but it's then gifted back to Chargers, who are looking to get it right. Amaya Balgrove goes for it and it's off the wall and out. Chargers get the point, as they will go on to take the final set at 25-20 to start the league on a winning note. The other ladies' game featured Warrens in the White and Carlton. Warrens, a team of veterans of the local game, had their younger opponents on the back foot throughout, as they were nothing short of power plays. A free pass to the Warrens ladies, and here goes Talia Lane beating the double block. Sophia Walcott with the serve, and Carlton looking to set up the play, but Rhonda Durant delivers the rejection at the net. It was a lopsided affair as Carlton seemed a bit lackluster and disorganized, but on the other end, though, it was like clockwork. Jamelia Corbett gets in on the spiking, as Warrens made it a straight set win at 25-8, 25-11, 25-14 to also start the league as winners. The men's action, as usual, served up some fireworks as we started the game between All-Stars in the black and progressive. All-Stars, however, is gifted the free ball and it doesn't go to waste. Here comes Kareem Grant, power and placement on point. Progressive took the first set at 25-18, but from here on, it's All-Stars went into business mode. And again, it was Grant effecting the play. Not to say Progressive were totally outplayed. It was a tight game. You could want it any better. Nice save by Progressive. So could they make it go in their favor? Well, this is one of the longer rallies. And if the final say on this one was Progressive. But in the grand scheme of things, the boys in black were your winners. All-Stars took the other 3 sets at 25-23, 25-17, 25-17. Also starting the league with a win, Foundation United here in the black and yellow totally got the better of Cormier, who looked a shadow of themselves as they went down at 25-17, 25-20, 25-13. The volleyball league action has served off. Well, it's that time again when we shine the spotlight on the play of the week in the Prime Minister's Cup. Maybe it's a top goal, or maybe a top save, or an assist for the books. Let's play ball. Here's your Flow Prime Minister's Cup Play of the Week. Stay connected at home and on the go with Flow.
It was a weekend where 5 goals were scored in open play in the Prime Minister's Cup. But the Flow Play of the Week was the goal that brought Kickstart Rush back on level terms in their quarter-final against Paradise. The strike that laid the foundation for a comeback victory. Raymar Walters bending it like Beckham into the back of the net from close range, setting the stage of Kickstart Rush to go on and win 2-1. Well done to the Rush, and well done by Raymar Walters.
That was your Flow Play of the Week, the outstanding moment from the latest action in the Prime Minister's Cup. Stay connected at home and on the go with Flow. And that's it for sports. So back to you, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. We'll return after the break. And before we go, some sad news just coming to hand. We've learned of the death of former Speaker of the House and member for St. Joseph, Lindsay Bolden. In a statement from Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley, she says it was truly a sad moment when she learned yesterday of the passing of a loyal and devoted member of the Barbados Labour Party family and a retired, hard-working servant of the people of Barbados. The Prime Minister said Lindsay was by all measurements small in physical stature, but possessed a voice that was so robust and commanding that if you did not know him, it would be hard to believe he was in fact the one speaking. It was that voice, his understanding of parliamentary procedure, and an unmistakable confidence that left every member of the House of Assembly in absolutely no doubt as to who was in charge. From 1984 to 1986, he commanded the chair of the Speaker of the House with unquestioned authority. And the Prime Minister extends condolence to all of the family members on the passing of Mr. Bolden. That's news. Thanks for viewing. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.